Hi, this is Raman, your tutor from Alberta Real Estate School. One of the most commonly asked questions that I get is how to become a real estate agent in Alberta. In this video, we will dive deeper into that topic. We will take a look at all the steps that you need to follow in order to get started on your journey in real estate. So let's dive in. Let's take a look at how to become a real estate agent in Alberta. There are 4 steps that you will have to follow to get started in this field. First step is to meet the minimum eligibility requirements. Then second step is that you complete the pre-licensing education. So these are the courses that you would have to take in order to get licensed. Step number 3 is to get a criminal record check done. And the fourth step is to join a brokerage. Once you go to join a brokerage, you will fill out your licensing application form with them. All right, let's take a look at each of these steps a little bit more in depth now. So step number 1, meet the eligibility requirements. In terms of what is required to start the process would be the minimum age requirement here is 18 years. The person needs to be at least 18 years of age in order to get started in a career in real estate. Then you also have to be able to lawfully study and work in Canada. So if you have a Canadian citizenship or PR card, that is not a problem. However, if you have a work permit, so you need to make sure that there are no study restrictions on the work permit. In addition to that, you will have to provide a government issued identification. So this could be a driver's license, your passport, PR card, any of those will work. Now, the only thing to keep in mind here would be the identification card has to be valid. That means it cannot be expired. So if you're using a driver's license, you have to make sure the expiry date is not close and or it's not expired already. So it has to be a valid ID card that you will have to provide. Next one is you need to have a Canadian high school diploma or equivalent. So again, if you are a citizen here or if you did your schooling in Canada, then this is not a problem here as long as you have your high school diploma. Now, if you did your schooling somewhere else, then you would have to get your schooling or your degree assessed. IQAS is one of the places you can go to get it assessed. Now, I have created another video on that topic. We will link to that video in the description below. But basically, you would send your education documents wherever you did your education from to IQAS, and then they will give you a Canadian equivalency, and that's all you need in order to get started here. Now, if you did do your schooling in Canada, but you're an immigrant, so as long as you have a 2-year diploma, that will work. So you don't have to then worry about providing anything else. Another requirement here is to be proficient in English. So again, if you did a 2-year diploma in Canada, then you have already met this requirement, even if you are an immigrant. However, if you didn't do any schooling in Canada, then you do have to get one of the proficiency tests done. So IELTS, CELPIP, CALE. However, sometimes you can bypass that requirement. So if you did your schooling in English, so your medium of instruction was English, then you may be able to bypass this requirement. Or if you have English as a subject that you did in your grade 12, you can send that diploma to IQAS, and then they will assess it and make it equal to grade 12 English here, which will also meet your criteria. So do you meet the eligibility requirements? If you do, then you can move on to next step. This is where you would get started with the application. You would set up an account at myreca.ca. It's a free account to set up. Once you set up the account, next step is for you to apply. And this is where they will charge you a fee. There's a $100 non-refundable fee. And this is when you would upload all your documents to your MyReca account. Everything is done electronically. You don't have to physically send them anything. Now, the only thing to keep in mind here would be that your education has to come directly from your college or university, wherever you did it, or if you got your education assessed from IQS, it has to be sent to RECA by IQAS or by your school directly. This step is very important. Many times people don't realize this, and then the application is then waiting to be processed. So you would upload your ID documents yourself and everything else yourself. But in terms of the education, those requirements have to be, will be met only when your school or college sends the transcripts over to RICA, or IQAS sends it over to RICA. So that's the only way to meet that. You will not be able to submit your education requirements yourself. All right, so once that step is done, then RICA will go through all of your documents and you will get an email from them saying your application has been processed and now you can enroll for the courses. So this is your step 2. This is where we go into the pre-licensing education. In terms of the courses, you would have to complete 2 courses in order to get licensed. The first course is Fundamentals of Real Estate. So this is your foundational course that you need to get started in real estate. The cost for this course at this point is $1,250, and you would go to, again, myrica.ca to actually do the course. The entire course is online. It's a self-study course. You don't really need to attend classes. You would do it all online. You would get your login details once you enroll. The second course that you will have to do would be from one of the practice areas. Now, there are 4 choices and you can pick one of these 4. So the first one is practice of residential real estate. So if you wanted to be a residential realtor, this is a course you would pick. Most people start off with the residential real estate course. Now, if you wanted to do commercial real estate, then you would pick practice of commercial real estate. If you wanted to sell farms or any kind of agricultural properties, then you would want to pick the rural real estate. And if you're interested in property management, then you would pick the practice of property management course. So in order to get licensed, you only need one of these courses, but you have 4 choices. However, if you wanted to do residential and commercial, so you could start with a residential, get licensed, and then start your commercial course. So there's no restriction on how many of these practice areas that you can do. However, in order to get licensed, you need at least one of these. The cost for this course is $800. Now you have 12 months to complete the education requirements from the day that you enrolled for the first course. Step number 3 is to get your certified criminal record check done. So once you have finished your courses, you can then go get your criminal record check done. So when you go to the registry office, you would go to one of the registry offices that do the criminal record check done. You would have to go to one of the registries that do the criminal record check. Only thing to bear in mind here is make sure you tell them you need the fingerprinting done. So this is the more in-depth criminal record check. This is where they will send your fingerprints to Ottawa and then you'll get the results. So that's what you're looking for. The less expensive one is not the correct one. So make sure you pick the correct one. Now, the criminal record check, if you already have it, then it may still be valid. Basically, they are looking for a criminal record check that is no longer than 6 months old. So it's better to get it done as soon as you do your residential course or one of the practice area courses. So that way it would still be valid. Now, this one can take some time. Expect 2 to 3 weeks for them to send it to RICA. So you'll have to wait a little bit before RICA will receive the results. Next step is to join a brokerage. So this is where you would go interview different brokerages. Picking the right brokerage is very important. So you want to meet with the broker and understand what type of support they would provide. But last step is join a brokerage. So this is where you are now ready to be licensed. You would go meet with the broker, or I would suggest meeting a few different brokerages and then understanding their models and picking the one that would fit the best for you. Once you have decided to join them, you would then complete your licensing and registration application with them. There will be a bunch of questions you would have to answer, and that application will be started at the brokerage. It would then go to RICA, and once it's approved, you are now licensed. Now, how do we as Alberta Real Estate School fit into all of this? Okay, let me dive into that. So why work with us? The most important reason you would want to work with us would be because we help you pass your exams on the first attempt. So that's what we are really here for, helping you and supporting you in order to get through these courses and get them done quicker. There are many different options that are available in terms of working with us. The first one is we provide you study guides. So the study guide will include the summarized notes. So these notes will be based on the RECA material because that's where you're getting tested on, but the notes will be an easier version of what RECA has. So these are more focused, so you don't have to read everything. I do encourage you to read that on your RECA online portal. However, the notes are more of a summarized version, and we have picked the important parts that you need to know in order to be able to pass your exam. Then we also talk about important topics. So there are certain topics that are always on the exam. Doesn't matter how you ask the question, they will always be on the exam. So with our experience, we know what these topics are, so we would include those as well. And then of course, we provide you extra practice questions. Many times I get this complaint about how RECA's quizzes are very different than what you see on the exam. So in order to help you with that, we have given you extra practice questions. Again, they're in a different format, but they're on the same material that you will learn from RECA, but they're just asked in a different way, and they would make you think differently about the concepts that you have learned. So if you're interested in this option, you can visit our website and you will see the study guides there. Another option of working with us is getting tutoring. When you are getting tutoring, you will get an in-depth understanding of the real estate concept. So this is where we would teach you the materials ourselves. So instead of doing self-study and trying to figure out what everything means, this is where we would teach you the concepts in a class format. And we will also support you with the assignments and unit quizzes. So if you have any questions, some questions you don't understand or concept you don't understand, we would cover those and we will support you with those as well. And again, we would go over important areas that you need to focus on. And also we'll cover what type of scenario questions to expect, what terminology is important, all these things that you may not be aware of, we will go over that. Plus with the tutoring, you do get the notes included as well, which will also, so that's your study guide and practice questions, you will get that. And of course, one of the things we will talk about will be the strategies. What do you need to do in order to pass the exam? So again, that is one of the options available. Third option is just the exam preparation. So this is a quick review session. It is generally suited for people who have written the exam once and they may not have passed it. So many times I get people who get 62 out of 70 or 68 out of 70%. So if you are close like that, that means your concepts are okay. You just need a little bit more support. There are some things that you don't have clarity on. So we will go over the important real estate concepts. And this is where you have the opportunity to ask questions. So when RECA does exams, they don't provide you answers to the questions. And this is where you can come ask us those questions, because many times you may have gotten the answers wrong, but you don't know that you got them wrong. And that's what we are here for. And also we'll take a look at different strategies on how to pass the exam. Again, if you're interested in any of these, I would encourage you to visit our website. So just to recap, if you're working with us, we help you get an in-depth understanding of the real estate concept. So it's very important for us to make sure that you understand the concept, because when you understand the concept, answering questions becomes very easy. We will also help you in an interactive learning experience. So especially if you're doing tutoring, you will be able to ask questions. So this is a really good option for people who don't really like to self-study. So you actually get to hear, you get to ask questions, and we provide you all the support that you need. It also helps you save time because you'll be able to pass your exams faster. So normally you have a full year to do this program. But when you're working with us, we can help you get through each course in about 5 weeks or so. So we really shortcut that time for you. The market could have changed by then. So right now the market is really good. It's a hot real estate market, and it's expected to stay that way over the next few years based on the CMHC report. So instead of spending time on your own, we can basically shortcut the process for you. Also, we help with discipline and accountability. I find most of the people that we work with have other obligations. So you may be doing a career change, you may have a job, you may have family obligations. And this is where it becomes difficult sometimes to take out the time and for studying. And this is where we come in, because when you are attending the class, you have homework that needs to get done. So you will be able to stay on track. Plus, there will be other people in the class. So you see your colleagues making progress, and that's just a naturally good environment, suitable environment for you to get going as well. And of course, we support you every step of the way. Any questions you have, we'll be there to help you with those. Now, what do our students have to say? Here are a few testimonials. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and you were able to get an understanding on how to get started in your real estate career. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.